Hey,
Hello.
I'm Adam the Flop,
I'm Patty Pop Culture.
and we are
The
main
main
pop
pop
boys.
boys.
Oots. We have a lot to discuss today, and we're going to get into a little discussion about who we think are going to be the next main pop girls, or who have the potential to be a main pop girl.
And there's a lot of people who, like, are growing in the middle class of pop. The middle class in the real world is disappearing, but the middle class in pop is growing. Like,
Yeah.
no one's a main pop girl anymore. Everyone's like in the middle.
Yeah.
There's very few like main pop girls anymore. Basically, record labels came out with some sort of report on Complex saying that they are depressed. So it said, report, music industry executives are depressed about current state of breaking pop artists. This is a quote from the article. Each person I talk to in the industry is more depressed about this than the person I talked to before them. One executive said, for example, they went so far to estimate that nobody knows how to break music right now. Everyone is lost. Well, industry shifting developments like TikTok virality have indeed resulted in new stars. It's argued that these examples often don't equate to the full-scale pop stardom often used as a reference point.
Yeah. That's such an interesting article. And honestly, I would be scared too if I was an industry executive right now in this moment, because that's their job. For such a long time, an A&R at a record label could scout a talent and do whatever they could to make that talent a star, but they don't have control over that anymore. Like they can find their talent through an artist who's blowing up on social media, but social media is the way that the artist is blowing up. You know, the A&R isn't really doing anything to get them to be a star at that point. And then it's
honestly like nightmarish right now because like it's so confusing. Everything is changing so fast, and then TikTok like takes the music off.
Yeah.
So it's like, now what can we do at this point? Being in the music industry would be so hard right now.
Yeah,
So.
I wonder, speaking of that, I wonder what everyone at UMG is thinking, because Sony and Warner labels, their music is still up on TikTok available, but UMG is not currently because they couldn't strike a deal with TikTok, and they were wanting to get TikTok to pay the artists more, basically. But I think it's interesting that right now there are no UMG artists available on TikTok, because it's like, okay, for the up and coming artists and newer artists signed to UMG, how are they going to promote their music? Because TikTok is the way they do that.
Didn't Conan Gray say something about how this will be super hard, and he like wasn't sure how this was going to go?
Yeah.
Here, let me look. I'm sure I can just type in Conan Gray UMG. But yeah, it would be super difficult, especially because like imagine if your rollout was about to happen now.
Yeah.
And now you can't use TikTok, which is how everyone is starting their career. Even Tate McRae, is her music still on?
Yeah, because she's with
Thank
Sony.
God.
So
Oh my God.
yeah, but imagine if
That's like
this
propelling.
happened as Tate McRae was starting her era and releasing Greedy. Greedy would
Yeah.
not have been a hit, and she would not have released her album and had this much success.
Yeah, that would have been truly life changing.
Yeah.
Like career altering for the worst way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Conan Gray, I think so. It says Conan Gray jokingly reacts to music being removed from TikTok. He said, "My career is over for sure. I'm never gonna have a hit song at this rate ever again."
Wow. At least he's aware.
Yeah. we
Yeah.
love self-aware
Yeah.
people.
But yeah, for artists like him, where you're like well known, but you're not like a main pop girl or a main pop boy.
Like us.
Yeah, like us. How are you going to promote your music right now? So hopefully they do strike a deal and the UMG artists can get back on TikTok, because I feel for them.
Instagram.
Like, I mean, Instagram Reels for sure, but it's like they definitely need that extra.
I'm personally a little bit happy to see TikTok like struggle a bit, because their ways are just like shady sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, sweat. So I think everyone should go to Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram Reels, but yeah, UMG has just been trying to get their artists paid. They want more money, which makes sense, and they want to have TikTok have less control over AI, which I mean makes sense. So I don't know. This is going to hurt TikTok too, because there's going to be less people making audios to like Taylor Swift songs, you know, because she's an UMG artist. But
I know Swift Talk is half the platform.
exactly.
So there's a lot of issues why there will never be a main pop girl again. As we think before, I prepared like 5 reasons. So we're just gonna like run through these 5 reasons, but the UMG deal is definitely like an even bigger obstacle now. That's like the
sure.
6th obstacle that was just put up. So I think one of the reasons right now, maybe the main one, is that it's a like we live in a pluralistic culture now. With the rise of social media, we're consuming a wider variety of content. It's become the main way to become a pop star, and everyone can put their hand in the bag, which is amazing for consumers of music because we find all these new girls. I found so many like random artists on TikTok who I only save one of their songs and I never really hear from them again, but I love that song. And I'm so happy I found it on TikTok. But I would think it's bad for anyone trying to achieve super stardom. The barrier to entry is low, which is great because now these people who have talent but may not have the resources and are just writing songs on their bedroom floor can get in. But for people for I guess a record label who wants to make someone a main pop girl, this really sucks for them. Coi Leray tweeted, "The music industry is so oversaturated. Every song is a hit. Everybody is a star. When everything is viral, then nothing is really viral."
Yeah, that's true.
Attention is divided. In the past, attention was piled on in abundance to a small number of girls or pop boys back in the day. Now there's like 300,000 people releasing music. So a lot of people are starting out, but no one is staying and getting attached. And as the decline in mass media continues, the monoculture is like no longer a thing. So that's why I think like people are like, it's so easy to become Michael Jackson level famous today because you have social media. I'm like, no, social media steals attention. If you only have the radio who's being controlled by this corporation, of course there's going to be one person on it and you're going to know who he is because you'll have no other option.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, now there are so many artists out there trying to make it on social media. Like, I don't know about you, but on my For You page, every day I come across an artist being like, "This is my new song. Let me know what you think." And it's just them teasing it. And they're like sitting in a car.
Yeah,
and
it's just always in the car.
That's not the way to become a superstar. You need to do something innovative. You need to do something, different than what the rest of the up and coming artists on TikTok are doing. Because at the end of the day, the only way to become a superstar is if you have the fans.
Yeah. And you have to stand out. Like, you can be a great person and make a great song, but you have to stand out.
You need identity. The same, similar in the sense that like when Gaga was debuting in the early 2010s, she had so much identity with her songs. We knew exactly who she was and what she was going for. And I just feel like we don't have that same sense of just superstardom and main pop girl energy.
I agree. And I think there's a lot of girls who we love who can get a really decent group of fans, but not the whole culture, and it's blocking them from becoming a household name as they're trying to roll out music in the past like 4 or 5 years, I would say. Examples of girls who I think have fallen victim to, they could have been main pop girls if this was 2005 and we were all just watching the same station,
hearing their songs on the radio.
Is Renee Rapp. I think she would have been she's obviously huge and we know her name, like we love her, but I'm just saying like it just would have been the whole like all-encompassing main pop girl vibe.
I mean, that's true because she's really big and she has a lot of fans, but she hasn't really had a big hit yet.
Yeah, like
and so she's at like
don't know who.
She's at an interesting point because it's like a lot of artists have the hit and don't have the fans. She has the fans and not the big hit yet.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point, and I do wish her the best. I feel like she can get there, but I don't know. Her trek is like her next move. I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah,
I mean, she's doing a great job at getting the fan base to rise. She's really good at like posting on social media, getting lesbians obsessed with her. Lesbians love her.
I would say I became a fan of her, honestly, the week she was in Mean Girls and on SNL. Because I was exposed to like how hilarious she is on the press tour and then how talented she is in the movie and then her solo songs on SNL.
Her singing is so good. Yeah. If she has the right song, she could blow up mainstream wise and definitely achieve that. But who else do you think?
She needs to do like a showy, like a vocal gymnastics, like a show off song. Like she needs to do that but with like a poppy thing. And Not Your Fault was good. Not My Fault was good, but I think she should like kind of go for a more singer vibe.
For sure. You think like Adele vibes?
No,
Like a
I
little
would
more pop
say
than Adele?
something like "Dangerous Woman" by Ariana Grande.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even trying to do that.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
where she's screaming the chorus.
Because if you have like a big powerhouse voice, use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think she could do that. Other people who've fallen victim to not being able to achieve mainstream success, even though they probably would have back in the day. Madison Beer,
For sure.
Zara,
Yeah.
Victoria Monet. Especially with this era, a lot of, like, she won Best New Artist, so, like, obviously everyone respects her, but a lot of people on TikTok were like, who?
Yeah.
So I think she would have, because her songs are the epitome of quality. Like, they're so good.
On My Mama is so good. It's so fun to listen to, and the music video is great, and she's dancing, she's serving choreo, all of that. And she's written so many hits. Like, she's written Seven Rings, Thank You Next. She wrote Reflection by Fifth Harmony. And so
Did she really write Reflection by Fifth Harmony?
Oh, she wrote a lot of their songs.
No way. Where you from?
Yeah.
Must be
Isn't that so iconic?
That's amazing.
But yeah, I definitely think that she would have thrived in like the early 2010s.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. And Zara too. Zara's another example of a big powerhouse singer. Amazing voice, great personality, dances, has everything it takes to be a main pop girl. But she just fell victim to being an artist who had a bunch of hits in like 2017 that people sort of just forgot about.
Yeah, I think she was grasping onto that sort of stardom, but then as the rollouts of all these apps started happening, she like dissipated.
Yeah, that's happened to a lot of artists who debuted in like 2015 to 2017. They were at that point where they were like having a lot of success at first because they would have these radio bops, but then social media just started rising more and more in popularity, and then they're just like, where do we go from here? Bozzy's an example of that.
Oh yeah, I used to love him.
He could have been like one of the main pop boys
for sure.
Like, he had Mine, he had Beautiful with Camila, he had like a decent amount of hits at first, but where has he been since then? And I think that's interesting because he in 2019 did an interview and was like, no one listens to Taylor Swift's music anymore. Really? And yeah, he was on Zach Sang and they were talking about how like no one really like buys or listens to Taylor Swift's music anymore. And it was when she had released Lover, and he was like, I haven't heard that album yet. And so it's strange now to the point where like to think about the point that he's at in his career versus Taylor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. Well, he kind of shot himself in the foot there. Yeah. Don't disrespect T Swift like that. Right. And Lover still sold like 1 million copies or something.
No, literally,
so, or at least close to it.
But yeah, Zara definitely should be a main pop girl. I think that there are a few who have the potential to become a superstar right now. Maybe not like a superstar similar to Ariana, Taylor, Gaga, that level, but they have the potential to really blow up. And I think an artist like that is Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah. And Tate McRae. I think Sabrina Carpenter and Tate McRae are the two artists right now who are doing the best job at getting more and more fans. They're getting just people obsessed with them. Tate is constantly posting on TikTok, building her audience on there. She dances in her music videos, works so hard to get people attached to her. And Sabrina does the same. She's opening for Taylor on the Eras tour right now. She's also posting on social media a lot. She is serving looks everywhere she goes. So she's doing a great job at getting people to really talk about her because, I think that like she does that through like fashion too. Like, people are obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter's looks, and
she's like laying like the groundwork.
For sure.
She's like the blueprint at this point for how to get bigger than you've ever been before. Yeah. Using TikTok in like a stable way. And it's almost like PR and content overload. Like, it's press overload. She's always trying to have a moment. She's going on dates with Barry. She's doing that thing in the Catholic Church. Yeah. She's opening for Taylor. Like, she's firing on all cylinders at all times. Because in the social media world, even though you may feel annoying and you may feel like you're posting too much, you have to.
Exactly.
It has to be content overload.
I think Sabrina's doing it in a smart way because she's becoming mainstream without being a TikTok artist.
That is so true.
You know, she's obviously had a lot of success on TikTok with Nonsense and Feather, but I wouldn't call her someone who blew up on TikTok, because she didn't. I mean, she's been famous for a while. She just had a lot of luck when her song started taking off on TikTok, but she's not like desperate for a TikTok hit, it seems.
She's definitely using both forms of old and new culture to achieve success, which is smart, because
so smart.
Well, both still exist, even though one is currently like taking over the other. You just have to play to like the current time. And not only is she doing all these things online, but she's also, you know, doing the stadium tours and going on Jimmy Fallon. And there's definitely some radio payola that I think is like and some Spotify payola. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I think it's
We
like
love,
a great thing. That's what everyone would do back in the day. So that's a smart
Literally.
thing. Like, put your songs on the radio, put your songs on TikTok, perform them all the time. Unfortunately, you just have to like work more and more and more. And she's so exhausted.
Yeah. She must be, though, like going on the Eras tour, probably in the studio all the time. Yeah, she probably is exhausted. But I'm excited for whenever she puts out a new album, because I feel like it will perform well. Like, I think Emails I Can't Send is a great example of an album that has had a long-lasting era, because the last pop album that I feel like had a long era was Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa.
Mm-hmm.
But Sabrina Carpenter's Emails I Can't Send era has been going on for almost 3 years.
Yeah, it really has.
She put out the lead single Skinny Dipping in 2021.
Wow.
And released the album in 2022. And the era is still going on. Feather is on the charts, rising every week.
Wow.
So,
yeah, it is rising.
Yeah.
Good for her.
So yeah, in terms of like an era, the other girlies should be paying attention to her.
Yeah. It's so scary though, because like she has proof of the success, but she also has proof of the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like if I was her, she has those prior experiences where it would shake my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see what she does next, but I believe in her.
I believe in her so much.
Word.
And she's obviously like she's approaching being like household name, I feel. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I think her hand is in everyone's business. So I think she will get there soon. Let's imagine Michael Jackson trying to take off on TikTok today. The moonwalk would be a really good TikTok trend. You know?
Yeah, he could definitely be like a TikTok artist for sure.
But at the same time, I feel like he would be clowned. He would be on some bad sides of TikTok sometimes. Like, it would just be so hilarious. Like, imagine people like using Michael Jackson audios when he does like the hee hee. Like, people would like clown him. So I feel like he wouldn't take off the same way that he did.
He would not have taken off the same way for sure, because he wouldn't have had so many stands through TikTok, because they would have just seen his trends online, be like, oh, like this is a fun trend to do.
Yeah, he would have been the like the Lil Nas X.
Right. Honestly, yeah.
Don't make a clip of that. Anyone online who's watching this, no.
Yeah.
So the second reason I think is that I feel like we kind of touched on this, but I just wrote down that it's an attention span problem. People who break through, they're not sticking. They leave as soon as they come. They are capitalizing on social media clout and buzz, and that's their moment. But it results in what we're calling the short song epidemic, where people have to rely on shock or a crazy social media marketing buzz instead of authentic work. They're not following up on the next thing. Fans aren't following up on the next thing you do. They're just consuming this small moment that you put out and moving on. That's why people don't feel confident putting out a song that's like 3 or 4 minutes anymore. They're just trying to have their little cute hit that burns out, then another one that burns out. That's like a dangerous game to play, because there's not a lot of longevity in that, but you can sustain if you're lucky enough to have a hit. You know, you could put out an album, no one knows 13 of the other songs, but they all know one song. And I feel like a perfect example of that is Jack Harlow.
That's true, yeah. Has he released an album after Lovin' on Me? No, right? But I feel like once he does, people are only going to know Lovin' on Me. Because no one really knew. Too. Yeah, people didn't really know songs from his last album other than First Class.
Yeah, like that was his problem. It was only First Class, and the rest of his album got like totally clowned.
Yeah.
Like they said, it was bad. So maybe that will happen with Lovin' on Me again.
Yeah, that's the hard thing, is like becoming an albums artist. It's so easy to be like a songs artist, a viral hits artist, but to be an albums artist where people look forward to streaming your whole entire album. Yeah. I do feel like Tate McRae
I was about to say, yeah. Tate McRae.
Tate McRae has done a great job at becoming an albums artist. And I think she did this through teasing not only her singles on TikTok, but her whole entire rollout was her teasing songs from the album and her making so many different videos for songs like Run for the Hills and Hurt My Feelings. Like, she really made people obsessed with album tracks from the album before the album came out, which is so genius.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's interesting how she did make so much content and still get a big song like Greedy, but make other songs go viral too. Yeah. Like, that's very impressive that she could promote all those songs at once.
Yeah, I think her whole rollout was just genius because she used the hype of Greedy to start teasing exes. A big reason exes went viral, I feel like, was because Greedy went so viral and people were obsessed with Greedy, starting to become obsessed with Tate, seeing her music videos, seeing the way she danced in the Greedy music video. And so they were like, oh shit, she's releasing another pop banger where she's dancing in the music video. I need a stream. And so I feel like that was a big reason why the song blew up. And that in turn just made her more of an albums artist.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think the things that people liked about Greedy, she even turned up a notch in X's. Yeah. She's like, let me dance, let me like serve like these Britney-esque like vocals in the chorus. Yeah. She is very smart with in real time, like seeing what her followers are saying.
Definitely. She knows that people want dancey vibes from her. They want the choreo. She can deliver choreo. She's been dancing forever.
Yeah. And so, these girls are taking notes from like the songwriting school as well of like maybe like T Swift, because they're very like autobiographical, like her songs like Run for the Hills and like Hurt My Feelings, like you know, like she went through something. I feel like people like her not only for what she can serve on the stage, but how they make her feel, as well as Sabrina too. I feel like she really took off once we had some plot of her life that people could latch onto.
I think the whole creative concept of Tate's album was really smart too. A lot of people might not know why she did a whole hockey themed music video and era, but she was dating a hockey player who inspired a lot of the songs on the album. She's not dating him anymore, but then like has her whole album being like, she wears your number, but I got what you like, you know, having stuff like that. And then the Greedy music video being like all hockey. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, so, it was smart. When I first saw the album cover, I was like, what's on her legs?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay. And then I think my sister, who I don't even know how she like knew that, she was like, oh, I think she dated a hockey player. Yeah. It's like, oh, see, everyone knows.
And she just headlined or did like some sort of halftime show. I don't know sports, but it was like the NHL something. Yeah. And I feel like that was just iconic because her ex was a hockey player and she's having this huge moment now performing at a hockey game.
That's so smart. Yeah. Oh, see?
Iconic.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. And as you can see here, as we're having this conversation, we're highlighting Tate and Sabrina as like two people who are carrying the torch of the new main pop girl. And I was going to like go into something else, but let's just jump into number 3. I think the third reason is that it's a talent problem. These days, the people who are going to the mainstream maybe it's not so based on their talent. So before you come for me, it's not about Tate and Sabrina. Like, they're definitely talented, but a lot of these new TikTok artists, it's more of a clout thing. Like, it's people with more clout and less talent that are going into the mainstream. We don't need to name names, but theoretically, talent would be seen as sorry, I'm like all over the place because I did not know we were about to go through this. So I took these notes like I took these notes like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, what did I write when I wrote this? So people are like, there's no more talented people in Gen Z. There clearly are. Yeah. Talent would theoretically be seen as a sexy trait passed down to generation and generation. So there's clearly talented people in Gen Z. But with this given trend of whoever can create the biggest moment in social media gets to be the next pop star, record labels are signing people with more followers and less talent. Like the Nicki Minaj song when she said, I wish these bitches wanted more talent and less clout. Yeah. Consumers are being distracted from the real talent and not investing in the real talent. We're not voting with our dollars to put these singers and these dancers up on number 1. We're giving our very important attention to people who are doing everything they can to keep our attention. Record labels in the past had to bet on people who were super talented because they would have to put them through artist development. That would have to put a lot of investment into them before they even put out their first song.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly you're going to gamble on the most talented person, but who also has the full package. They would have to plan a whole rollout and really just put everything into this person. And now they don't really have to bet on people at all, because before someone makes the first song, they're just going to go with, let's say, Addison Rae, who's the biggest artist on TikTok, or the biggest girl on TikTok, Bella Porsche. They're going to go with people like that because the investment is just safe. It's a money thing.
Yeah. And there's not much planning that needs to happen before rollout anymore. Like, they can plan a lead single, they can plan a music video, but they can't plan a second single and a third single anymore. That's all up to the fans and whatever goes viral. But yeah, I think the idea of you talking about how these people are talented was very interesting, because like, they are really talented. There's a lot of great singers out there, great vocalists on TikTok, but they might not have the full package that people are looking for. They might not have the choreo or have like the songwriting, but they're great singers, or they might be a good writer but not be like a powerhouse singer. So
yeah, and I think what you were saying, like, they don't really have to plan it out that much. Like, they can kind of like just let the fans do that. All of these eras are super short. It's a very quick turnaround too. Like, eras aren't planned out for 2 years. They're kind of planned out for like a few months. Yeah. And then they're forgotten as soon as they come out. And I think examples of people who have gone through this, who maybe use social media to their advantage, but maybe wouldn't have been here without social media, would be Steve Lacy, Young Gravy, Coy Leroy, Glorilla, and Gail are all examples of people who I don't know if they're ever going to achieve main pop status because of the way they got there. And
it's sad because they probably are so happy when they see that they have a song going viral and song having a hit. But then the moment that song gets off the radio, gets off today's top hits on Spotify, people are just going to forget about them. And they're probably like sad now, because it's like, will they ever achieve that status?
Yeah, I think Saweetie is a good example of that too.
I love Saweetie, and it makes me it makes me really sad that she hasn't had a hit in a while, because I think she's just like, she has what it takes. I mean, she makes catchy songs. She's beautiful.
She's hilarious too.
And she's so funny.
Her trying to read the teleprompter. I know, it's so funny.
I know that's right.
She botched the whole speech. Ends with, I know that's right.
Like, she knew she ate.
I ate the Saweetie meal every day when it was at McDonald's.
Isn't that iconic though, how she had a Saweetie meal at McDonald's? But isn't like a main rap girl?
No, everyone probably thought that was just a new like sweet and sour sauce.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's the
Saweetie sauce.
The Saweetie sauce.
Sweetie and sour sauce. Stream Saweetie's music.
Yeah, stream Saweetie.
Like, come on.
Her album sold like 2,000 copies though.
Literally, we can't be the only ones standing her.
We can't be.
She I don't get why she gets so much hate. She minds her own business. She makes her bops.
And then I think the real talented people get pushed down. Like, what do you think about Ray? Because she's seeing success, but like it's like, you know, she has to keep fighting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because Ray is an independent artist, doesn't have a big label backing her, but has been able to achieve success on TikTok with escapism. And I feel like she was able to get a smaller fan base through that. And she did a good job at going on tours. Like, she was touring with Kali Uchis, went on tour with SZA right after that. She really did she really used touring as a strategy. I feel like she wanted to get in front of as many people as possible, which I think is really smart and a thing that a lot of people should be doing. Yeah. And I think
adding to the Sabrina conversation, she did the tour too that boosted her career because of the nonsense outro.
It was more so Sabrina's tours than it was TikTok. Yeah. That blew her up as a main girly, I feel.
Yeah. She used TikTok to blow up her tour.
Yeah. So smart. And I feel like
so smart.
Yeah. Ray kind of did something similar where she was touring all the time and posting clips of the tour on her social media pages. And people loved that she was doing like an orchestral vibe for her shows. And so I think that was really smart of her. I think that she deserves more recognition for sure. Like, her not being nominated for Best New Artist or any of the categories with escapism, even though that was such a big hit and is a great song. Kind of demonic.
I think that's demonic too.
Yeah.
I think the Grammys are Illuminati driven and demonic.
I think she has what it takes to be more of an artist who's really respected amongst people and the industry, but I don't know about mainstream wise. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love Ray.
Yeah.
I have a lot of her like deeper cuts on my phone. I just think she's great.
Yeah. I've loved her ever since she was doing like the big like dancey club songs.
Yes.
Like Regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
so good.
I love that song. So I think there's kind of been a shift in the culture. I don't know how much time we've left, but number 4, I think there was kind of some shift in the culture. Remember when people were turning against celebrities during the pandemic? When they put out that very patronizing video of them singing Imagine by by the Beatles. They were like almost like exposing themselves as very inept and not socially aware. So I feel like there was a shift in the culture of how celebrities had to present themselves, and I felt like being more relatable and organic was in more. Whereas we discussed these main pop girls, how like they had like their gimmicks and their big moments in the past. Like Kesha would dress like she was going to a rave at all times. Katy Perry was dressing like cotton candy clouds on her head. Rihanna was being like BDSM and with the red hair. Like everyone was doing this crazy thing, and I feel like that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So remember that photos that was going around on Twitter? That was Olivia and Tate sitting at a basketball game. And it was viral, and the caption was, the new main pop girls just don't hit the same. Yeah. Because they were just dressed in jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just feel like there's a confusion of what people want, because being organic and relatable does sell, but it doesn't necessarily make you like a superstar at the same time.
For sure.
But I don't think Tate and Olivia and Sabrina should like compromise their realness for wanting to like infiltrate the household.
I think back then when you were talking about like Rihanna, Gaga, Katy, they all were so good at branding, and they knew how to just differentiate themselves from each other. Whereas now it's like that won't work. Like what you were saying, like they can't just decide to, dress in a certain way. They can't put on a wig and that be their identity. But yeah.
Yeah, because back in the day, you only saw what you saw of them in their music videos or in their very planned out, meticulous like snippets into their life. So they can put on that character for like 10 minutes a day and then take it off, and you would never know that Kesha isn't actually like that. But now we see like just a lot of their life. So there's no hiding in characters anymore.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting because not everyone can be the Olivia Rodrigo writing the most real songs from my bedroom floor vibe.
Yeah.
Because that would just kind of be like, I feel like Sabrina and Tate kind of have like notes of that, but they've had to differentiate themselves at the same time. But I bet they all wish they could just be Olivia, who all she really has to serve is the songwriting.
That's so true. But even like her Grammy look, like I like how simple it was for her, because she doesn't have to do anything crazy. People are like, oh, her look is boring. She doesn't need to do anything like extraordinary, she can just put on a dress, look cute.
Yeah, I don't think boring is the word. Like simple, real.
Yeah, simple for sure. She can play it safe with the looks, and at the end it'll be okay because she already has a really strong fan base.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the past, like Gaga came to the Grammys in an egg.
Literally,
and
the meat dress.
Nicki Minaj came with a Catholic priest.
Yeah, the wigs that Nicki would wear, the wigs that Katy Perry would wear. Crazy to think, because no artist would do that now.
Yeah, and it's like that would actually look like really dumb if they did. Like that stuff just doesn't work anymore. So maybe what I'm trying to say is like the formula for main pop girl, the old one doesn't even work anymore, and no one knows how to exactly do the new one. But it seems like Sabrina, Olivia, and Tate are onto something.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm hopeful that they will achieve that superstardom.
Yeah. I think other girls we should look out for are Tyla.
Yes, I love Water.
Me too. She has a good song called
She won a Grammy for
Truth
it.
or Dare. She did?
Yeah, Water won a Grammy. It was her first award ever.
Oh!
Imagine your first award being a Grammy.
What the fuck?
Right?
Hey, it's so good though. It honestly deserves.
And she's so cute too. Just like her presence. She has the energy.
Yes.
The stage presence, the visuals. She definitely has what it takes.
She's like a potential new object of my stardom.
Yeah.
Like I'm very excited to see what she does next.
For
Her
sure.
song Truth or Dare is good.
Yeah.
She only has like 4 songs out, right?
Yeah.
But those ones are good. I would say Billy's obviously like an example of a newer girl who's going the distance. Dua, as we said, Tate, Sabrina, Olivia, Ice Spice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess we will see.
Yeah, there's some potential out there, which I'm excited to observe and see if they will achieve the status of being a main pop girl. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say to the stands watching?
I wrote, train your fan base to see you as an artist, not an influencer. But I feel like that's what you're talking about.
For sure.
Sabrina. So do that.
Yeah, do that. Don't just be an artist that posts on TikTok and expects to just get a viral hit. Go out of your way and get stands. Do something innovative and creative. Don't do what the other TikTok artists are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like we just dove so deep into
the main pop girl mindset. We did a deep fucking dive.
My head actually kind of hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. I need a break after this.
We went off the deep end.
Yeah. I'm off the deep end.
Watch this. That was good.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're gonna be the new main pop
Wait,
girl.
can I? Can someone like make me an industry plant, please?
Oh my God, Ava Max's post today when she said, "I'm busy being an industry plant." It's like,
literally
go off industry plant.
Stan Ava Max.
Work
give
industry
her
plant.
What she
if
deserves.
I was a drag queen, my name would be Industry Plant.
That's smart. You should do that.
First name
on RuPaul.
Industry, last name Plant.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. Really appreciate it. Watch on YouTube, but listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever. If you're listening on a platform, make sure to hit follow. Do all of that. Rate it 5 stars.
And if you're not listening on a platform, how the hell are you listening to it?
True. Yeah, we love you all. Thank you so much.
We love you so much. Thank you for watching. I'm done.
Bye.